Kane, is this one of your NPCs or is this a new sucker? Because if it's a new character, we're gonna have to redo this whole theme song.
It's extremely rare that a YouTube pilot gets this massively successful that I could probably count the times in my hand it's happened. However, the popularity of this single episode outpaced anything that came before. And so we're gonna look into how this happened, pointing to 3 major reasons why. Also, I'll talk about what this means for indie animation as a whole. Hello, I'm Ryan, and we're gonna be amazing it in this circus. Created by Gooseworks, the Amazing Digital Circus, or TDAC, or Digital Circus, is about a woman named Pomni getting trapped in a wacky virtual world of several other people.
I put on some weird headset and now I'm here.
Oh, to be clear, this is not a lore video. I mean, if you want to see that, go watch a MatPat video. Though that does lead us into one major reason the show got popular. Theories. No, not Matt himself, but rather the mystery of the pilot as a whole. When it comes to literature and videoture, mysteries activate a part of our brain that engages us with the media like no other genre can. In an article by Elizabeth Michelson Monahan, she describes the lure of such a story.
Mysteries require readers to use their cognitive abilities to interpret clues as well as their imaginations to identify with characters, including the detective and, in crime fiction, the culprits.
Now, a mystery can be anything as simple as who pooped the bed to who murdered Sherlock Holmes, both equally engaging. But tacking on more descriptive names, Digital Circus would be a black comedy science fiction psychological drama. Not really horror for the first episode. Even the creator Gooseworks would disagree that it's horror, or at the very least, they have a more stricter definition of the genre. The question of who is Pomni is paired with her lack of memory of who she is before she put on the VR goggles, and is mixed with the other characters. You know, Ragatha, Jax, Gangle, Kinger, Zooble, Bubble, and Kane, all of whom have similar notions of unknown identity and purpose within this world.
We've all been through this. You just need to get your head
What the is going on?
With a colorful cast of characters, this gives the audience a ripe orchard of theories and stories to discuss with other people. And there's even some light ARG elements. If you go to thewonkiwatch.com, you can watch a little infomercial about the show. I mean, the pilot of the show. But anyway, if you remember the days of Gravity Falls, and you might, whenever an episode released, people would rush to Reddit and YouTube to talk about what they think will happen next. And so, it drives up engagement for the show. And in the modern age, we see a lot of this with analog horror. One of the more popular ones being that of Petscop, a series of videos detailing and unraveling story of the Let's Player and the game's creator. Gemini Home Entertainment's being another popular series of videos detailing wildlife in this alternate reality. Or even the Mandela catalog talking about mysterious figures with spooky consequences. Though they keep me up at night. Although it's not horror, it still activates the parts of our brain that lets our imagination run wild in speculation and intrigue. How will Pomni get out? What is Kane up to? And why am I attracted to Gangle? Are all questions hopefully answered in the next episode. Now this next reason is a very important one, is what is a mystery about characters? Okay, character designs. Each character's avatar is unique, with no 2 designs being alike. With the show being digital world, it gave the creator free reign in design. A bunny guy, a jester, and even a Ragatha, there's a banquet to delight when it comes to seeing these characters.
But yeah, he's right. Welcome to your new home. And your new body.
A new home? What do you mean?
Number 1 for the fact that they're fun to draw. They're not really complicated, and probably attribute their personalities within themselves. Number 2 is how abstract they are. The abstraction of human-like qualities, it makes it easier for the viewers to put themselves in the shoe of these characters. Or robe for Kinger?
We've been stuck here for years. Old Kinger over there's supposedly been here the longest.
Did someone say something about an insect collection?
Scott McCloud talks about this in his book Understanding Comics.
The more cartoony a face is, for instance, the more people it can be said to describe.
He would go on to talk about how stripping down an image can amplify meaning in a way that realistic art can't. If you stop drawing for a second and pay attention to the goddamn screen, you can see this picture of Tails from his titular comic, Tails Gets Trolled. A face like this can only work in the simplistic art style that Laserbot drew in. Well, originally, he got better over time. Attempts to recreate it won't have the same feeling as the original, essentially creating new meanings. But circling back to Digital Circus, and what that previous quote meant, is that when watching the show, you'll have an easier time seeing yourself in these characters. And I don't just mean yourself, but everyone yourself. The characters having non-specific human qualities, this makes it easier to be watched and appreciated from around the world. If you ever search a fan art on Twitter, you'll see many people from many different walks of life draw the funny bunny and scaredy woman. It speaks to people in a way that a more detailed or hyper-specific show couldn't. Thus, when you look at a photo or realistic drawing of a face, you see it as the face of another. But when you enter the world of the cartoon, you see yourself. So far, we talked about 2 reasons why the show got popular. The mystery being fun to talk about, and the character designs being fun to draw about. So what is this mysterious third thing that I keep hinting at? Well, before we get into that, if you're liking the video so far, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment about Digital Circus. I do read them. Trust me, I do.
Alright, what is this very important thing you keep hinting at?
Well, Valentine BVA, who's the narrator voice, it's language itself. Now, I actually mean 2 things by language. The easier to one to explain is that there's no cursing. At least with the first episode, Kane said there would be no bad words in the world, so they cannot say the fuck or the damn.
No, my dear, we can't have any of that foul
language around here, the Amazing Digital Circus is a place to be enjoyed by all ages.
And this little detail means that a lot more people can watch it. First, in the sense of the viewer wanting to watch something relatively clean, or a small dumb baby wanting to watch it with their parents in the same room. So I call this maybe E for everyone, or maybe E10 and up. For Helva Boss, it'll be rated M or adults only. You know, if they show the uncensored version of some of the scenes. The second part of the language is accessibility. In the olden days of indie animation, one would have to upload an entirely separate video with respective dub of their choosing. For Amazing Hotel, this would be the original English, French, and Japanese dubs. Now, this would be the first and last time they would do this, as the rest of it's in English, which we'll get into why later. Issues of having a separate video of the dub is watch time, views, and placement for your general audience, most of whom will not natively speak that language. And so a lot of questions arise when you go this route. Which language do I continue to upload for? And do I have to make separate channels for each language? While you can rely on fan dubs for your respective works, as an indie creator, you need to earn the most money possible to keep the lights on, because animation is expensive. But something about Digital Circus is different. If you click the gear icon, you'll notice a new option called Audio Track. Once you click on it and select a language, wait. The character's actually dubbed? Officially? What the fuck is going on? Well, YouTube added a new feature where you can not only add subtitles, but also multiple language tracks within the same video. Meaning you don't have to upload a second video from another language, you can just have them one video. P. Now the studio who created this, Glitch Productions, is familiar with this, as their other show Murder Drones also had this feature. Diving into analytics, having 12 separate official dubs of the series gives a good chunk of the earth the ability to watch this pilot. And with all of this going into one video, it makes it so a lot of traffic goes to it. This means that's further boosting the algorithm more so than Helva Boss, reaching nearly 150 million views? This would lead to Pomni being added to Zoomer Engine Alpha Humor due to the success.
Digitally Circus Seymour.
Though there are some caveats when doing something like this. Indie animation and YouTube don't really go hand in hand. Even with high view counts, you have to have good retention and interest to make a low money on the platform. Even earning 1 million views just isn't enough for keeping animation afloat. So when it comes to dubbing your cartoon, this becomes very difficult. Glitch Productions can offset a lot of their costs thanks to the sister channel SMG4. So dubbing 12 languages isn't particularly a financial issue. I mean, it is, but not really. So if you have a completed cartoon and want to open up to a wider audience, what would you have to do? Well, here's what you're paying for. A dubbing scriptwriter, voice cast, voiceover director, and editor. For the first thing, you'll need someone to rewrite your script in their respective language, and that's not an easy task. Keeping it the similar length and meaning is a bit hard to do. See, people complain about English dubs on Japanese anime. Next, you'll need another voice cast, preferably with their second or third language in your native one so you can communicate better. Next, you'll need a voiceover director for that language. If you're not familiar with their mother tongue, you'd have to hire someone to get a similar performance to your native dub. Next is hiring another editor, as if another language means re-editing the audio. And in doing all this, adds a lot more time and a lot more money to the production. This is not forgetting subtitles in respective language as well as your own. I talked about this with Brendan Blabber for his show Epithet Erased. For a show broadcast in the Americas, it is required to have English subtitles for the hard of hearing. But will this be the new evolution for indie animation? I'd say yes and no. As this is a new field, it'll be a slow start when it comes to implementation. Over time, I can foresee groups of dubbers offering their services for their respective languages, such as Rash A1M. You might know them for their Japanese dubs over Worthy Kids and Punch Punch Forever, which I also made a video about. So say you have a finished product and won the dub. In the future you can contact someone and they do all this for you. Though this would lead into debates of whether to watch it in your language or the original dub, like for King of the Hill. But in saying all this, you have to understand that dubbing won't guarantee high success. It just allows more people to view your work. You know what I mean? Remembering the first two things I mentioned before, you still have to have a good story and engaging characters. You know, something to really get people to latch onto when wanting more. And a lot of it goes down to writing. Now if you know Gooseworks, she's actually made quite a few animations before. And over time, learn what makes a character appealing in writing as well as style. So while dubbing should be something to think about in the future, it's not the only thing to worry about. And this is also understanding that you have a higher threshold to clear for making your money back, let alone a profit. While making indie animation is often for the fun of it, it's a nice encouragement to actually get paid for your time and effort you put into it. Maybe release a director's commentary or a 4K re-release under paywall for $5. Artist and animator Tabloui talked about this on Twitter. I could talk all about it, but it's best saved for another video. Subscribe for more. But anyway, those are the 3 main reasons why Digital Circus got so popular. And it's very clear it resonated with a lot of people. I asked my audience what they thought of the show, and I'll let Valentine Bay VA read some of them. There's 3 of them.
They managed to do what other animated pilots and shows on YouTube haven't even been able to do yet. Made it very rewatchable. It's self-contained in a way that something like Hazbin Hotel wasn't. Hazbin was setting up for the next episode by introducing a bunch of characters at the end. Digital Circus ties it up in a knot that still makes it satisfying. I followed Gooseworks' work ever since they made Undertale music covers, so I knew they made high-quality stuff. The pilot was great, and I loved the setup, character dynamics, and surreal creepiness, but I would have never expected expected it to reach over 100 million views. We love Jesus Christ.
In the end, I'm excited for the next episode, and I'm waiting to see where the series will go from here.
You know how I never like letting people see my unfinished work, especially if it leads you out into the void.
Well, you risen at the end of this video. If you Ohio Pomni did, so you can like and subscribe, and check out one of my other videos. Maybe that one, or ooh, what about that one? They're both interesting.